All right, this is Deanna Marie, and welcome back here to the Clue Seat. And today we are going to be talking about your heart posture when you are praying for something, okay? And the Bible reference today, if you want one, is going to be 1 Samuel 16, verse 7, okay? So let's get started. All right, so in 1 Samuel, there's a lot going on in that book, but one of the main things that's going on is you have Saul, King Saul, and then you have who's eventually going to be King David. And they both have an opportunity to be kings of Israel, but Saul did not end up having the right heart posture, and his family ends up being completely obliterated and destroyed in the process. David had the right heart posture, even though he made mistakes along the way. His heart was still in the right place, and he and his kingdom eventually, Jesus is going to be in that bloodline. So, what do I mean about having the right heart posture? When you guys are praying for stuff, you need to make sure that when you're asking for stuff, you're asking for it with the truest intentions, because if you don't have true intentions towards it and you're asking God for something, he's going to search your heart. And if it's not the right way, you're not going to be able to receive what you're asking for. Some of you guys are praying for, wealth, right? But what are you asking for the wealth for? Is it to make other people jealous? Is it to make, to spend it on yourself and just do a whole bunch of stuff that you want to do? Like, what is the reason behind the wealth? Because if you're just asking it for selfish intentions, God cannot give you those things all the time, because it will end up destroying you, and you might do more harm to yourself and other people than if you just didn't have it at all. Some of you guys are praying for, wives. You want a specific wife, or you want a specific girl, or stuff like that. And so God's looking at your heart and saying, well, why do you want to be with her? Why do you want a wife? What are those reasons behind it? And you have to make sure that you have the right heart behind it, because maybe you're asking for a specific girl and you want this or that, and you're asking because she is successful, and you want a piece of that. Or maybe you're asking because she's beautiful and you're like, man, it would be really great to walk around with a girl that looks like that. Well, that might not be the right heart posture for receiving that wife, because there's more to being a husband than just having a girl that's a trophy wife, or being with somebody because they're successful and you want to piggyback on that. Like that, God can't give you those things, because you're only going to destroy yourself, but you're going to take down her. And if she's a daughter of God, you're going to destroy her in the process as well. So it's really, really important that you think about, like, why do I actually want these things? Because sometimes if it comes from like a spirit of like jealousy or wanting other people to be jealous of you, that's not the right reasons to ask for something. And so you need to like go back, repent, do a little heart check, because God, if you want to be a husband or you want to be a wife, you want to be wealthy, you want those things, God did put a desire there for those things with you, but you have to make sure that you're mature enough to handle the situation. You're mature enough to listen and listen to the instructions, because Saul was not mature enough to do that. Saul thought he was, and in the beginning he started off saying, oh, he was following God and doing this, and then at the very end of it, he's ending up building statues of himself, and he's not listening to God at all. He's half listening, half not. He just wants everybody else to think that God's with him still, and that's all it had to do with. Whereas David made mistakes along the way, but he had a heart that like repented and said, hey, I'm sorry, I'm struggling with this, I did this and I did that, and then he'd go right back to listening to God. And so if you're asking for something, and especially if you're making these big prayers, you should be asking God for so much stuff. You want to see God move in your life. You don't have a small God, you have a big God, right? You need to make sure that your heart is correct when you ask for those things, because if you're getting wealth, I can guarantee you God's just not giving it to you so you can go on vacation, buy cars and houses, and live a life of luxury by yourself. Yes, can you do that? Those things are wonderful, absolutely. But he's also asking you to have it overflow and affect other people in a positive way. So you need to make sure that your heart has that generosity, that kindness, and you're asking for things for the right reasons so that your prayers will be answered. Okay? So anyways, like, share, subscribe, and comment as always. I will see you guys next time.